One more minute and then I'll start. Okay, I'll start now. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to Seniors in Seva 6th Masterclass. My name is Sonia Kapoor and I'm a co-founder of Seniors in Seva. Today's session on fundraising strategies is in response to a request from many of our partner organizations, particularly in an environment where raising funds has become more and more challenging. I'm delighted to welcome three eminent speakers from our own volunteer community who have very generously agreed to share their wisdom and experience in this space. So we have Krishnakant Jha, Sabyasachi, and Devdas Prabhu, who will be touching upon the topic with very different perspectives for a very holistic view on fundraising. Before I hand over to them, I just wanted to share a few facts about Seniors in Seva. We are a 3-year-old trust started by 5 batchmates from IRMA. We had identified that there is a large untapped talent of senior professionals who are willing to give their time to mentor grassroots organizations in their capacity building. So we decided to create a platform to connect these two groups. This idea has really taken shape well, and today we have 130 volunteers, 35 partner organizations who have joined our journey. We have about 78 projects which are completed and running and have generated about 25 lakh rupees of value for our partners. Our own team has grown from 6 to 12, and we have also received funding support from Tata Trust and Volcart Foundation for farmer producer organization mentoring in collaboration with NAFPO and TRI. In today's session, we will have each of our distinguished speakers share their ideas for about 15 minutes, after which we will have a Q&A session for about 5 minutes after each topic. In case, and because we need to manage the time, in case you have additional questions, you can always put it in the chat box and we can address these at the end of the session. We are, of course, recording this session, and this recording will be available on our website. And we will be doing a survey to get your feedback on the session, which will be later on sent to you by email. This will really help us bring more relevant topics to all of you. And finally, there will be a farewell note from Prashant Shirali, who's also one of our senior advisors at Seniors in Seva. So without much ado, let me hand over to Krishnakant Jha. Over to you, Krishnakant.
Thank you. A very happy New Year to all the audience present here. So normally we see what is fundraising. We have to chase for funds. Whenever some proposal comes, lot of non-profits apply, and that chase is never ending. So without any finish line. Now my question is, how to instead of chasing fundraising, how to attract funding, which gives a better result. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So I was waiting for the presentation. So yeah. So this non-profit starvation now has become acute now. The present circumstances in our country, and a lot of funding sources are drying up actually. So changing has become more faster, more few sources and lot of competitors. So under some circumstances, how to stop changing and attracting them, that becomes important. And for that, we require a strategy. So most of the non-profits are trapped in the fundraising chase. And whenever it becomes a sprint with no finish line, constant cycle of regular pitching, guessing, chasing money, sending proposal, which is not strategic. We just apply. Whenever some opportunity comes, we put proposal without knowing whether we'll get it or not. So this, so without a bold brand, fundraising is always a pitching, constantly guessing at the correct fit. So this has become never-ending, a vicious cycle. So what is the problem now? The problem is we mistake execution for strategy. We think putting grant applications, preparing donor list, getting some awards somewhere, attending meetings will get us fund. But that is just execution. It is a fuel. It is not the engine. Engine is strategy. What is the strategy to attract fund? And there our brand, our vision, our unique value, what value we bring to the table, our USP will help us. So therefore, execution is only fuel, not the engine. So how to stop chasing donations and start attracting them? The most successful, sustainable non-profits never just fundraise better. They have a brand. Actually, the key mantra for fundraising is brand. So the brand act like a magnet. They understand the fundamental rule: brand first, funding second. So before going for funding, we should develop our brand first. So what is the model now? The model for funding is now be fundable and be findable. What is be fundable? Be fundable is your inner strength and clarity. So it is like knowing why you exist, what you do, where you are going, who will do it, and how to get it. So basically, it is like a artisan is skilled artisan. Artisan knows what to do, just waiting for a fund to do some work. But otherwise, the artisan knows everything, what he's supposed to do, what will be the output, everything. Theory of change is ready, everything is ready. Only fund will come and they can execute the plan. So be fundable is your strength. Then what is findable? Findable is your external promise and presence, occupying a distinct space in the minds of your audience, plus routinely communicating your brand promise. So there has to be a regular communication. And this is your positioning in the market, and you know how to market. Now let us see what it means to be fundable. It means you have a case for support built into your organization's DNA. It is about clarity, your focus and readiness. Tackle a specific problem. You have a very distinct people target for people of beneficiary. You have very clear-cut mission and you have a very straightforward intervention. And you also measure your outputs and outcomes. So the funding agency knows you have a definite plan. You are well prepared for the show. So make your vision, and then for be fundable means be findable means your vision is very powerful and tangible. You have a right team in the right seats. You have 3-year, annual, and quarterly priorities, and you support those goals with your own action plans. So basically, what it means to be findable, it is about owning your space. You locate gaps in your market landscape, determine what makes you unique, what is your USP. You decide which audiences to target. You communicate clear value propositions, what value you bring to the table, and you show off a brand personality. You develop bold messaging and storytelling, which is very regular, and you execute a consistent marketing plan. And then you partner with corporates to amplify your work via CSR, because they will highlight your on their websites. So result is, if we use this new model, the result is from whack-a-mole to the domino effect. So when you are playing whack-a-mole, just fundraising alone without brand, you are chasing money. You are constantly guessing at the correct fit. Little is known or in your control. You don't know whether you will get it or not. But when you have a brand plus fundraising, the money comes to you via inbound referrals and reputation. You have conversations, not presentations, because the funding agency knows why they're coming to you. So it is finally conversations, communication. Presentation is gone. And one push and the wind keeps coming. That is your domino effect. So there are 5 pillars of integrated fundraising strategy. and that is visibility, documentation, effective communication, networking, capacity building. And this is supported by very well mission and vision is very clear to everybody. So let us see visibility. Develop a strong and consistent brand identity. Maintain an active social media presence. Now here social media becomes very, very important. Your LinkedIn handle, your Facebook, your Instagram, where you constantly uh, you submit your storyline to the targeted audience. So you give your impact regularly and transparent to the build your donor trust. Then documentation, the very clear vision and mission statements ready, organize program reports and impact data, maintain accessible financial statement. This is very important. All financial statements are accessible to the donor, and compliance documents. Create professional proposals, brochures, and case studies. And effective communication. Tell compelling stories that focus on the change you create, not just the need. Use simple and human language. Align your message with donor values and interests. Networking is very important. Understand the relationship drives fundraising. Systematically engaging donors, partners, and influencers. Provide regular updates and conduct meaningful follow-ups. Focus on building communities, not just transactions. And capacity building. Your team should be well trained. Develop fundraising leadership across the organization. Invest in the right system and processes. So having a strong brand closes a donor expectation gap because you are fundable, focusing on mission, measuring outcomes, having a clear plan, which directly provides what funders look for: a clear narrative of change, proof of impact, confidence in your leadership and vision. So this helps you getting closer to the donor expectation. So earlier, from a vicious cycle to a virtuous cycle. Earlier, it was just applying different and getting rejected. Lot of proposals. Here, it is a virtuous cycle. You create strong programs which create impact and which generate compelling stories, which drives visibility and awareness, which builds trust with audiences, which cultivate deep relationships, which attract sustainable funding. So it is a complete virtuous system which gets you going, and you get a regular support from donor without a lot of effort. So new fundraising agenda is fundraising is strategic, not accidental. It is not when somebody asking for proposal you just apply. That is not funding. It has to be strategic. It has to be integrated across functionals in your all functions like your communications, your vision, your work in field. Everything has to be a harmonious link. You have to invest in your people, systems, and stories. These are the core assets that make you fundable. Sustainability follows alignment. When your internal clarity matches your external message, you attract long-term support. Fundraising works best when the whole organization owns it. It is not a team of a few team members are just trying for fundraising. It has to be done by the whole organization because it has to meet you have to be fundable, you have to be findable. Then only fundraising becomes, you can attract funding. Thank you. I am done.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Krishnakanji. That was a really good framework for everybody to think about. And I would request people to put in their questions or raise your hand if there's anything that you want Krishnakanji to talk about. Anybody interested? You can put it in the chat box or you can just raise your hand.
Sridhar has raised his hand, and Amin, and then Shiv Challa.
Okay. So maybe we can remove the presentation right now or yeah.
Yeah, so once again, just to introduce myself, I'm Sridhar. I'm working for an NGO called Indian Development Foundation, which is actually a 40-year-old NGO. Now, in spite of being a 40-year-old NGO, I could, understand what he was saying when Mr. Krishnakant was mentioning about brand building. I totally agree with this viewpoint that unless you have a brand, you have an image, it's very difficult to, get networking. When I approach a company and if they don't know who's IDF, then it becomes a very difficult task to take things forward. But the point that I'm trying to, the question, or rather the question that I want to ask is that when we talk to a corporate organization, it's very, very challenging. One of the most challenging thing is to understand what is the going to be the fund that is being allocated or that they are looking at for for the projects, for CSR projects. Many times when we pitch in our projects, it's without knowing what is going to be the funding strategy of the participating collaborator. It's very difficult to project a project. I hope I'm making myself very clear. We are, it's always a guesswork. We always, tell them whatever projects we have without really understanding what is their budget and whether at all our projects meet with that budget, we over exceed their budget, or we underplay. Rather, their potential is much more, but without understanding, we are projecting a project where, it's hardly anything for the company. So, how do we go about asking a corporate company, because it's not a straightforward question and they will not never give a straightforward answer. This is my experience. So I would like to understand from the seniors here that how do we gauge, or how do we understand what is going to be the volume of funding, or to be precise, what is going to be the exact budget of the funding? How do we find this?
Thank you. May I request if we can take the questions, Krishnakantji, together, and then you can respond, because there may be overlapping questions. So if we can listen to Amin, Shiv Challa, and Rohit Kumar, the three more questions, and then you can respond. Sonia, that's all right? Then you
Yeah,
can
that should be
respond
fine.
together.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Amin, please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Good evening, and thanks for the opportunity to. Sir, I'm just into fundraising I've been in fundraising for like 1 year, and since you're like a senior in this field for quite some time, so there is this constant disparity between the program team and the fundraising team. So is this like, and see, I've like talking to other people and the other people are also saying it's with them also. So from your experience, how can you like give some suggestion on how to mitigate this change or how to reduce this thing? Because our program team feels like we are like sitting in AC rooms and saying some promises to donors which the implementation team can't make it, and they are like they are like saying we don't understand them, and we are like saying they don't understand them. So how are you like managing this situation? Or is it just, is it happening everywhere, or is just something that our organization should seriously work upon?
Thank you,
Thank you.
Amin. Shiv, can you please?
Hi, thank you very much. So my question is, just I'll give a brief background. I started after working 20 years across the world. I came back to India and set up my own small startup, 3R Zero Waste. But since I am working specifically on waste management and environment specifically, so I found that I should have an NGO along with it. So many NGOs you will see in a private company found out of 10 years when the company becomes a 1,000 crore company. But since I was an impact, I was knowing that certain funds which will be for my, they want a CSO to be executing it because it's more of impact driven. And just for giving the numbers, when I asked this question in one of the physical events to Mr. Bhaskar Chatterjee, what is the amount of funding being funded to environmental projects? In 2020, it was somewhere at 2% of the overall 100,000 crores being spent. I'm just exaggerating. I don't know the exact number. 2% was on environment. And out of that 2%, we deep inside, 80% of that would have been plantation. So there was nothing else for environment where my company is working, specifically on waste and educating people, creating e-learning portals on specifically on environment. So with that, and I think it has changed from 2% to maybe now we are at 7 to 8%, other than various livelihood and other things. So my question to you, Krishnakant, is when somebody, a founder like me, who is already in a startup and trying to solve the environment problems as a private limited, and then I also do this as a founder of 3RZW Environment Foundation, how should I juggle? And I really like the things you said, that I created a brand value for me. Today we are on the top 5 startups in India, North India specifically, where we have that value. We have
Shiv,
created that.
Shiv, sorry, can you be brief? I think you mentioned your question because we need to keep time for Krishnakant to also respond. So can you just sum up whatever your question is, and then we can go to Rohit?
I think I mentioned, so I just want, how do I play with it? That's it.
Thank you. Rohit, request you to also be brief, please.
Sure, thank you. Hi, I love what you said about fundraising works best when the whole organization does. I would love to hear some thoughts around how to structure that. Because at Aprishala Foundation for last 5 years, we are running a campaign which we take on as a whole organization, particularly for teams where most of us come from lower middle class backgrounds, where we may not have a lot of network. How do we really make it possible but also fun, and the team doesn't feel one more thing to do?
Thank you, Rohit. Elena, can we ask you to hold your question for the next question slot that will come up after the second speaker?
Yeah,
Because
she can also write it down on the chat box so that we'll remember that this question needs to be asked. So, Krishnakant ji, would you like to address all these questions?
Yeah. So what Sridharji asked and Shiv asked, I think both are related, I think. How to approach corporate, how to know the detail about funding. So actually, my answer is, and it is a common sense also, without relationship building, going for asking for funding is a very tough job and a challenging job. That is the first thing. Because when you're asking something from somebody who does not know us, does not know our brand, does not know what we are doing, it is very difficult for them to give you the whole picture openly to you, because they are not government agency. So for my first suggestion will be, Sridharji and Shiv, you are already doing, I know you, that relationship building is comes first in funding. And how relationship building? It is not asking for fund. You have to volunteer in their area. Wherever corporates are functioning, they have a CSR area. They have a corporate. They have designated some area where they want to intervene for promote their corporate goals. In that area, we need to volunteer and make our presence felt. That's the first item. Unless your presence is felt, don't expect your corporate is going to partner with you and open their Pandora box and tell you everything about their corporate goals and aims. Because normally what happens, if you become important for them by relationship building and showing your volunteer work in their area, if they think you are important for them, they will help you from their funding budget, definitely, right? So first thing is developing relationship comes first. And for relationship, you start with volunteering. Don't expect funding in the day one, 0 day. So after you have developed relationship, they know your importance in the area. They understand you are very important in the area, doing some impactful work, and then they will help you. Then details will open up. Then under relationship, things go ahead. So this is for Sridhar and Rohit, Shiv. And Amin, you said problem with implementation and planning. Am I correct? Did you say like that, Amin? Will you repeat once again?
Sir, how do we maintain the synergy between our implementation team and fundraising team?
Implementation and consulting team.
No, on-ground team and fundraising team.
So that is harmony. That regular meeting and interaction has to be there, right? It cannot be solo. It cannot be watertight compartment. Your fundraising team is separate and your field team is separate. They have to interact regularly on regular basis. You should have regular meetings with them, right? So what your fundraising team is doing, the field team should know, and what field team is doing, your fundraising team should know. then only they can project and create impact and tell a story, right? So they have to be very frequent, regular interaction has to be there. Okay, and Rohit raised something. I was not very clear what he asked actually. Rohit, will you repeat once again?
Yeah, my question was, Krishnakanji, you said that fundraising works best when the whole organization does and
Yeah.
not just one department. Particularly for organizations which are, comprised of team members coming from, low-income homes or lower middle-class homes, like ourselves. We may not have a ready-made network, ready-made relationships, right? Like many other NGOs may have. But we love this idea because for last 5 years we've been trying to build a social media campaign around fundraising where the entire team comes together. If you can advise, what are some things we should keep in mind so that we can do this better?
So you have to follow the 5 pillars of fundraising, integrated fundraising, which was the last slide, I think, right? So networking has to be there. Networking cannot start in day one. So as I suggested for Mr. Sridhar and Mr. Shiv, relationship building has to start when you start when you are trying for fundraising. So relationship building has to be started, initiated somewhere, right? You are small or big does not matter. Relationship can start, and for relationship you have to volunteer. You have to take up some area in the their targeted area, the corporate targeted area. You have to show your presence. You have to create impact. Day one, you cannot get fundraising. Without relationship, without creating impact, you cannot get fund. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. So I think we can now move on to the next speaker.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
I'm sure there are a lot of questions. I can see them on the chat box, and we can take them on later on once we're done. So over to Sabyasachi now.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you
Yeah,
are.
okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you and good afternoon to all. Well, after the vibrant session by Mr. Krishnakanji, so my session would be about those NGOs who need to work without fundraiser, because I also believe that sometimes hiring a fundraiser is a very big issue. So how the founder will work and operate. There are 3 session objective. One is to have a simple roadmap how to build the fundraising. Get inspired. So I'm going to share few grassroots Indian examples that how they are raising funds and break few fundraising myths. Yeah. So basically, the first thing that I want to speak about is the basic thing. Who are eligible to receive funds. Definitely Section 8, it should be a trust or or a society. Should have 12A and 80G registration and CSR 1. And FCRA definitely for foreign funding, at least 3 years of operation actually. So what the trend that I have seen, basically CSR, they prefer somebody who is having at least 3 years in operation with their financial statements in place. Yeah, Deepak. So this is based on other research, and this is one of the few examples that why NGOs fail in fundraising. And there can be n number of examples, but I strongly feel that this is not definitely due to lack of passion, actually. But then why do they fail? So one, I have seen that it's basically they have an outdated website. I think few of our friends, like they were sharing. We were approaching and so what happens that when you're approaching any CSR, the CSR, what the first thing that does is definitely 100% like relationship building. Secondly, they see your website, which is very important, right? And your website is your face, is your first level of communication apart from you, right? So this is very important. Your website should be updated. And when I say it should be updated, it should have proper, credible information about you. What is your purpose? Why you're doing this? Why this NGO is there in the first place? What problem is it solving? Do you have any beneficiaries? Any stories they have to highlight? So all these things have to come in the website. Most of the website that I have seen, they don't showcase those things, and it's a very substandard way of telling their story, and they lose on a lot of trust from the CSR bit and HNI fundraising. Yes, and definitely treating CSR as a charity. So one thing I think we all have to understand, like basically the founders, that we have to treat CSR as a business strategy. Actually, not a not like somebody who is giving money, or CSR is giving money. They wanted to do some program. No, the CSR is also have their own needs. They have their own targets to fill it, and that's the reason that they're giving this money to do this this CSR thing. And also, last but not the least, is the weak outreach calls. Actually, that is also very important. Most of the time, as I said, without no relationship building, there is some random mails or random like cold calls, which doesn't help. Yes. So this is basically a small draft how to raise funds. There's a 3 steps. One is definitely having the right documents in place, do's and have a good organization profile, which is basically a proposal sort of thing and exactly what your organization is doing. Add the problem thing, add the solution statement, the market that you are working in, and how you're building the traction. What is the business model or what is the social model that you're working in? What's your team? What is the financial and the ask? So this document has to be there right from day one, and if and this becomes the raw data for any of the PPTs or any of the proposals that you're making. And this proposal should be in sync with the SDGs, right? And then with the clear budget. And not having also too much literature, like sometimes having too much literature is also very dangerous. Researching companies, this is step 2 is about researching of companies. So this is very important. So one thing is that as a fundraiser who is like say for example any NGO who is newly launched this NGO or having 3 to 4 years, they have some idea in the market. So there are n number of ways. One is that LinkedIn. So what I strongly feel as a founder, 50% of his job should be in the laptop and 50% in the field, right? So when I say in the laptop, he should do a lot of research so like LinkedIn is one. He should be a part of different WhatsApp groups. He should also see the National CSR portal. He should do a lot of research. Once he has started doing this thing, automatically the path will form its own way. And last but not the least, I think plan your outreach, how you're planning your outreach, that is very, very important. Random outreach does not help. CSR funding only works best with how you're aligning your message and the work that you're doing. I'll share a few examples when I share the real life case stories. Yes, Deepak, next slide. So this is a framework, a very short framework. STRONG, strong framework. S stands for storytelling. As I said, storytelling's how clearly you are able to showcase your problem with clear outcomes. That becomes very important. How trust. So it is also very important how you're on the trust meter. How beautifully you are able to showcase that in what level of the trust meter you are in, and that can only happen when you are able to showcase and you have good financial in place, like statements in place, audited and CS statements in place. It should be relevant, like definitely it should be aligned to CSR Schedule 6 and SDGs. Outreach is definitely should be warm and structured. Numbers and impact, your numbers, your cost per beneficiary should be very clear with measurable results. And definitely gratitude. Very, very important that I have seen most of the times when I have done one donation, I get a thank mail or a receipt mail after 1 year. Right. I will tell you, like recently it has happened to me and some of my friends who have like donated for something, and after 1 year, suddenly there is a call from that NGO that okay, you have like given us money in, like last year, also please like donate this year. So this becomes very important. So G stand for gratitude here. Yes. Next. So I have a small quiz here, and there is no prizes or chocolates for this, but I will request all of you to try it out. What percentage of small, mid-sized NGOs in India operate without a full-time fundraiser? Any guesses? Wild guesses, quickly.
85.
Okay.
I think 85.
85.
Okay. Deepak, next slide.
60.
Yes. So this is based on the research on the Bharat NGO report. In fact, you can also refer the Bain report also. It speaks about this. So this is one myth that, that how can a NGO survive without a fundraiser? So around 60% they operate without a fundraiser. Next quiz, Deepak. Which internal capability best compensates for not having a fundraiser? Any guesses?
A
Okay.
or
A strong
C,
social
C.
media presence.
Okay. Deepak? So C, clear impact data and storytelling. So this is very important. So one thing that I'm trying to tell them from day one, definitely ask for funds, but ensure that your data is correct. The way you're telling the story becomes very, very, very important in the fundraising game. And this is the game changer. Trust me, there are a number of NGOs. The way, how beautifully you're able to showcase your story, it matters a lot. And this is based on research. Deepak, next. NGOs without fundraiser that survive beyond 5 years usually do which one thing differently? Any guesses? Any wild guesses is fine.
C.
Okay.
What?
C, I got. Okay.
I think
Answer.
run. Okay.
Yeah, D. So D is the answer.
D.
Diversify funding into 3-4 sources. Yes. And these are the sources that where I have done this research. Maybe one you can also. These are very interesting, like reports. Like by the way, I will request you all, urge you all to please read this. Lot of idea you will get actually. Yes. Next. In a no fundraiser model, what should be the primary role of the NGO head? Any guesses?
C.
C.
Okay.
C.
Okay. Deepak? Absolutely. C. Next, Deepak. Which activity gives the highest return for NGOs without fundraising staff? Any guesses?
B.
B.
Deepak? The answer is C. Warm introduction via board advisors. See, actually, when I say warm introductions, this means networking. So one thing that I also want to highlight, which I think Krishnakanji was also talking about, your networking, your relationship building plays a very, very important part. Right? Sorry?
Someone needs to go on mute. Yeah, that's go ahead, Sabya.
Okay. Okay. Deepak, next. Okay, so what I have here, this slide is basically a fundraising planner. You know, one thing that I have seen every time when I'm working with NGOs, that they talk about fundraising, they talk about a lot of many things, but when I ask them in detail, do you have a fundraising plan? And the answer is somewhat yes, no, right? So I thought to have this fundraising, one of the like demos, like as a sheet, like a template here in that I'm showing you to you. I'll request you plan your fundraising this way. So see, fundraising is also about planning, how you plan from the basics, that what is your monthly plan, and this is your raw data where you're going to refer it like every time, right? Who are your repeat donors? Who are your one-time donors? Who are your HNI donors? How you're bucketing your donors, that is also very, very, very important, right? So this is the template that I will request you all to follow. This is just a template where you can like definitely customize it. So for every month wise, you can do, every week wise also you can do. But this is the basic data which everyone I believe should have. Who was like one time year round. Once you have this in place, a lot of things will come into place actually. Yes, Deepak. So one thing, one thing we were talking about that like some of my the participants were asking, how to do fund, how to raise fund, where to do. So I have given a simple like I have broken up the type of funders basically and how we can approach them. Like individual giving is one, local CSR SME support is one. How we are going to plan that, right? Institution is one, community events are one. We can do a lot of community events. In fact, I remember like one of the NGOs 2 years back, we use arts as a way of telling stories, and that attracted a lot of traction inside the community. So the community should be excited first. Forget the funders. First, the intervention that you are doing, the community should be excited, and that arts piece brought that excitement into place. So so this is just a snapshot that what can be the different ways and strategies for fundraising. I hope kindly take a screenshot also of this. This will help immensely to all of our friends here. Yes.
We'll be sending the decks to everyone, so that's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Deepak. Yeah. And definitely, yes, follow-up, thank you. Follow-up, thank you plays a very important part, and what I strongly also feel when we are doing a follow-up, how many of us are sending a birthday, right? Or wish to our funder, or maybe the 20 or the 30 or the 40 like funders whom I'm having, or maybe in their anniversary, right? So do we have a tracker? And this is maybe so this is also one of the way where you're able to follow up and show gratitude to them. Very, very important. At least thank them once they have done this thing, and also keep them updating with a photo or with a story or a small video, right? Even if they have paid 100 rupees, 500 rupees, 2000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, the only way to convert them to have more bigger ticket size, and how is that when you're able to move up to their trust ladder or the trust meter. So every NGO should always try to move ahead in the trust meter. That is very, very important. And all this activity will help that to do that. Special event tracking is one. So idea is to convert all the one-time donors into repeat like donors and supporters, and also make it very user friendly, right? Like UPI or QR code. Sometimes they send some link which doesn't work or open, so the founder has to take care of that actually. So all these things becomes very important. The user experience becomes very important. Yes, Deepak. So I will share few low cost innovation real stories by Indian NGOs who have worked, with a lot of resource constraint, and sometimes without a fundraiser also. That is all innovation. Okay, Deepak. So have you heard of Humans of Mumbai? So they were able to raise 25 lakhs for a family in crisis. And the innovation that they did was that they leveraged the emotion and storytelling plus the online community to mobilize the donor first. So what they did, they had pictures, they had short videos, they had leveraged that emotional thing, the pain that the family was going through, and they were able to communicate that pain to the funders also, right? So this is one area which is very, very important. With the present thing, you have to understand what innovation we can do with the present situation, and plan that and showcase that to the funders. Yes, Deepak. This is another by of like Friendicos. They work with pets, and they were able to raise 60 lakh. And that thing and the language they spoke was that they used a lot of pre and post visuals, right? So what happens if you have, so as a donor, it makes you feel very empowered. Like say, for example, a dog who was not well, he was not able to walk, and after your, and they will show you after your donation, the dog was able to walk and now is good. It makes you as a donor, makes you feel empowered, right? So this is very important. So they used a lot of pre and post visuals to engage the donors, and they were they raised about 60 lakhs, and this is all based on data, friends. Yes, Deepak, next one. Chintan is another one. So they used metrics based fundraising where donor could see the exact environmental impact. Like they said that, okay, every 100 rupees you donate, we are going to recycle every say X amount of kgs. So this is also very important, the language what we use. I was also like listening to one of the participants where they were asking that, how we will raise funds and what we will say when we ask that how much money you should give us. So I strongly feel that that's the wrong way of approach. We should not ask how much money that we will ask from them, but we will tell them, see, there is a problem that I'm trying to solve, and if I get this amount of money, these lives are going to get impacted, right? And also this is very important that both the funders and you and the NGO are in this game because both believe in the problem. So that is that vibe, that attitude should all the NGO founders should have. Problem happens when the NGO becomes a very asking mode, right? So I think that's when the funder, like loses the game. And so it's very important that how well able to communicate the message that you want to do, what impact you're trying to create. I think that makes the most like raises more interest in the funders, like whether it's small time donors or CSR. So what I want to say again is innovation is already using what you have, and use a lot of volunteers. I think this is also one of the smartest way of doing fundraising. There are many like organization and institutes which have volunteers across different corporates. Use them, do small funding, tell them your program, tell them your message, and I'm sure like they will be your ambassadors of fundraising. Use the local event as triggers also, very, very important. At the end of the day, it should be a win-win partnership. Deepak.
Sabya, we've got about 1 or 2 minutes left. So do we have how many slides now? Maybe
no, I think this is the last slide.
Okay,
I think,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So yes, so this is a myth like busting. We know we don't need big donors. Fundraising is not begging, and fundraising is inviting partnership. Like as I said, we are because we both are into this because we both believe in this purpose. So these are few practical tools, as I said, WhatsApp and thank you up and the different templates. Yes, so align your proposal properly with SDGs. Maintain an updated website, very important. Keep ready all the due diligence folder, all the papers, audited documents and sheets. Follow a structured outreach approach and engage existing volunteers and donors. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sabya. That was a really interesting and hands-on presentation. And I'm sure it's given a lot of very practical guidelines to everyone in the audience. So we are little over time. So some 2 or 3 quick questions. We can consolidate those questions and then you can answer them. Anybody with a question? Wendy? Or no, Geraldine? Or is that just a wave?
It was just to say thank you. It was very enlightening.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Wonderful case studies. Examples are amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really interesting. I love the point about the gratitude. Quite often we just forget to say thank you, and that matters so much, at the right time.
Yeah, I just saw one question which come up sorry, this is Devdas from
Yeah.
you. That ATG has been removed. That answer is right because under the new this thing, 12 and a half, the ATG is no longer available.
Okay, great.
Shiv has raised his hand. So
We still have it. We still have it for our organization. ATG, we still have it for our organization. I think there are some new parameters that you have to give in. But the ATG, we still have actually.
Okay. So Shiv, you said has raised.
Yeah, Shiv has raised his hand.
Shiv, go ahead with your question.
It was a question or a scenario which I would like to share. I applied for ATG renewal recently because I finished my 3 years of that temporary phase. And then in Chandigarh, to be very specific, I'll open up, doesn't matter. All our NGOs, they should learn what mistake I did or how I crossed this problem of ATG. So I was rejected. My ATG got rejected by the income tax commissioner, and I was alone. I'm a very small NGO, very one person, or I have just one more person who helps me. I thought of leaving it because the bribing situation in India, people call you and all that. But to tell you short, I went to a court. The judge, in front of the judge, it was the online thing, and I defended my own case. There was no lawyer. Because of my passion of environment, the judge said one simple thing that कितने लोग काम कर रहे हैं environment में आज. अगर कोई दिल्ली में अगर ये पोल्यूशन हो रहा है और ये हो रहा है तो to cut story short, I won the case. It was just one hearing. The judge gave a written writing. No income tax officer can reject our ATG if you are really doing real work. If you can prove that, and he was a very genuine gentleman, very senior judge, and I won the case. Still, अभी judgment आके 2 महीने हो चुके हैं, ऑफिसर ने नेक्स्ट स्टेप नहीं लिया. So, but I came to know from other people कि ATG की अभी इनकम टैक्स के रूल के हिसाब से there is no requirement. So we will need to educate the funders also कि भाई आपके प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट में चाहिए, चेकलिस्ट है, नहीं है तो हम आपको नहीं हटा देंगे. It is not the right approach now. We should educate the funders also that this is no more a requirement. You can't use that certificate. So why you are asking for it? That's it. Thank you.
Great.
So I have a question, right?
Yeah, there's a question on initial 3 years. How does one go about with fundraising in the initial 3 years?
Yeah, nice question. Like Manisha, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay. So Manisha, see, there are two things to it. It's not it's like patthar ki lakir, it's not like that what I've said and it cannot happen beyond that. Basically, like as I said, your strategy should be manifold. One is CSR. What I'm talking is basically about CSR. But you have like you can also access the HNI funding base, like it's very important. What I said is that making your maths right, like you have to keep all the basic things in place. Do you have a website, good website? Do you have all your papers and your financial in place? Those things are very important. Are you able to communicate your story? You never know. 3 years is what the CSR wants to stay in a safe place. But from your side, you have to get your basics right first. If you are getting your basics right, approach, trust me, there will be people, there will be funders who will be aligning with your work that you're doing. I strongly feel that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That makes a lot of sense.
Okay, we'll take this as the last question. How challenging is the fundraising process for social enterprises, for-profit organizations? Would love to listen to few perspectives from experts. Social enterprises के लिए.
Okay. So, like it's for me or for all? It's an open
I
question.
guess it's an open question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I will tell my thoughts, or like others can also come in. So see, as I tell now, whenever you're thinking, so it's all a myth. So the first question is that like there's a myth in of fundraising when you say it's about challenging. Because there are like NGOs also or social enterprises who are able to raise funds. What I said again, I want to repeat it again and again, because there is a gap and I am able to see the gap. The gap is people are not getting the basic things in place, right? The hygiene factors, like what we call, right? Randomly, you pick up any NGO like website, you see half of the information is there, half is not there. The first thing you have to understand, whenever a funder comes to fund you, whether you're a social enterprise, so it's like sector it, whatever you are doing, he will talk to you, yes, but he will also see the work that you have done in the past, whether it's 1 year, 6 months, doesn't matter. How well you are able to tell the story, whether through your website, videos, or anything, that becomes very important. I have seen organizations struggling because, and when I see their homepage, myself, I feel like very bad. Okay, this is how they are like asking for funds and they don't have the basic hygiene things in place. Yeah, my thoughts.
Great. Thank you so much. I think we'll move now to Devdas. Let's go to the last speaker.
Yeah.
And Devdas, over to you.
Thank you so much and a very good evening. I'll be basically summarizing what Krishnakant ji and Sabyasachi have said. It's more like putting in a summary of all this thing. So the topic is aligning. How do we align, like what most of us, how do we align our the organization goals and our organization goals and the donor expectations? So the first one is why are we doing all this? Like what he said was SDG, just in case somebody missed it, is the Sustainable Development Goals, which has been set by the United Nations and which are supposed to be achieved by all the countries up to 2030. So if you see the basic metrics where all the people are working or all the NGOs are working are in the 17 elements which are all the working, of which the top 5 are no poverty, zero hunger, health, quality education, and gender equality. And to include the 6th is basically clean water. So these are generally where everybody is currently working. Next. So yeah, so whom are the partners, the NGOs working? So they basically partners with the government department and like-minded organizations. So a government department, what happens is a government department enables the NGOs to access greater resources and they give greater support because government is obviously doing a lot of work in this thing. Again, like-minded organizations, they give a more holistic approach to the community development. They're there at the grassroots levels, and they share their expertise and pooling of resources. They help in pooling of resources and all. So, who are the government department? Like you have a common science and research organization, health and education department. It's a very important thing. In India, you have this integrated child development services, then the local state level tourism board, the forest department, the national rural livelihood mission. So these are the like-minded organizations like what the NGOs are there. They're like the Right for Food campaign, the CSR box, the NGO box. So these are the bigger organizations which the one thing common question which came is that how do we get into all this? Yes, the NGOs have to be a facilitators and collaborators. So the one point which you have to start is once you have your mission in place or your vision in place, then you have to do a lot of policy advocacy, either with the government, with the local, saying what are you trying to do. Then you have to, some of them also try to disseminate wherever this thing is in the community, they try to disseminate the government schemes. They also form some self-help groups and where promote self-help groups which help in empowerment of the people who are a part of the self-help group. More importantly, there are formal forums for training, obtaining skills, fighting malnutrition, anemia, village level planning, all this. Again, how do you get into all this? You engage. Some of our organizations which we are working with is they do not have volunteers on their own, but there is something called the ASHA workers or the community resource persons or the local service providers. People work with them and they work as facilitator instead of having everything on your own books or having building capacity on your own. You keep on working with these different people. Also, what the some of the NGOs do is they build resource centers where you have a particular center in a village or what do you call the tehsil or by whatever name you call it. You have a certain center where people can come in and take all this and take all the inputs. Also, some of the NGOs, like I work with a couple of NGOs who work in the farming sector, where they provide the seed capital to the people or seed capital to the people, and they also help the farmers in giving them exposure into new initiatives by teaching them new techniques and also taking them across to people who have already implemented such techniques. And certain NGOs also help in assisting in raising finance for these people. So that's how the general NGO would partner in the community. Next, Deepak. So here are the general donor profiles, which I think most of us have already spoken about the companies and the CSR, whom generally people tend to approach. But yes, then there are the other ones like the companies. They are basically set up for their corporate to set up for the corporate social responsibility commitment, where they have to make commitments of to 2% of their profits. But these are generally in the areas where, suppose, a factory is located in a certain cities in India or certain towns in India. So they would generally work around a 5 to 10 kilometer radius, that companies. And they are, what I've analyzed is they are mostly into health, women and child welfare and education. And most of them are, if I'm not mistaken, generally headed by the wife of the chairman and that CSR foundations are the same. Another one of the usually big the philanthropic foundations like the Azim Premji Trust, the Bill Gates Foundation, the Tata Trust, and all. Though they work in obviously a broader geography like a Bimaru states, or they have the specific purposes of like poverty alleviation, disease control, climate change. That is what they generally target. Then obviously there are charitable trusts, like I think one of them mentioned is like basically individuals coming together or a Samaj people coming together or like what I said, a community center. But then they have the specific purpose, like they do work for their particular community in terms of health, in terms of education, in terms of housing of the community people or poor people who are not so privileged in their community. Sometimes it may extend to some people around around their community, but those are charitable trusts. Government programs, obviously, where you receive aid and grant, they are in a much larger area that they focus on is basically environment, social, disaster management is something very big, which the government programs are currently run. Next, Deepak. Yes. So I've just listed down the 10 points what a donor expects. One is every donor would have their stated policy. So whenever a proposal comes, first thing he will ask is, does this align with our policy? So that's the first, what you call it, the first tick or a go, no go, which is the thing. Second one is, with what clarity is the proposal has been received? What is it that this NGO seeks? And this, I think, has been repeated by the two gentlemen ahead. Is it very concise, or like what you said, it has run into pages and pages, and then end of the day, he's not able to figure out what, because like what Krishnakantji said, we get 100 proposals. So the first 2-3 minutes or the first 2-3 pages, the funder or the donor should be able to make out, yes, this is summarized well, this is presented well. Then he would see, okay, whatever are the money I'm giving or whatever is the proposal made, is there a defined metrics of achievement? Like what you said, how many people have how many people have, in case of inoculation, you have run this campaigns for inoculation or what do you call it, injections or whatever it's called. How many people have been inoculated? Has there been a repeat? People have they? Has anybody fallen sick again? This thing. Third, the fifth one is feasibly. So once you prepare this thing proper, then obviously there will be budgets. So the government will say, okay, is this actually feasible with what the budgets and resources what has been presented to me? This is what the this thing, or has he under budgeted or has he over budgeted? That is something which is this thing. Sustainable, yes. Okay, is this a one-time exercise which the project has come to me for this thing come to me, or will that is there after effects, or will that effects of this project have a lasting impact on the environment or this community, this thing? And the most important is innovativeness. Is there anything innovative, or I received 10 templates? Okay, I need this thing. I need money. This thing, but is it a standard template, or are we suggesting this thing? So, like one of the, I think it come to the next one also. On innovativeness, I'll come to the next one. Capable. Like what Mr. Sabyasachi said is, does this company have does this NGO have experience in the particular geography, or have they executed similar projects earlier, even though it's a small scale? Can they now scale up to based on what they have proposed? And the governance is like what you said. You have to have all your clearances. You have to have your all registrations. You have to have your balance sheets, everything in place. That is the first thing which any donor would look like. And third is a trust. Trust is something which you do not build upfront, but then yes, you keep on building over a period of time. So these are what the general 10 donor expectations are. Next this thing. Okay. So the most important thing is what people have been saying. How do I figure this out? There's no ready-made answer. One is you have to have a team which keeps on researching, and what each of the whatever I made, the government or the philanthropy or the CSR. You have to see what from the website. Go to the website, see the balance sheets. There are 10 ways of downloading the balance sheet, figuring out what is it that they're looking at. What are the stated policies? Like for one example, I was looking at is we are going to one thing for female mortality, something to prevent female mortality. But then the organization went and said, boss, this is the area. So the organization said, boss, sorry, we are not in this. We are not located in this geography. Actually, located. We wanted something to do in the east, and this organization, whom the NGO approached, is in the west. So the point is, there's nothing but the research which we have to do in terms of what is their core focus area, what is the budget, how much budgets do they allocate in this thing. So that is one. Clarity, like what I said earlier, please communicate absolutely precisely what is the objective of the mission which you are trying to do. Keep the presentation absolutely crisp, not that we keep on sending pages and making it very verbose or something. Feasibility, yes, like what I said, prepare a very realistic budget base and resource to be deployed. What has also happened is, in one thing, we have said, okay, if you give me so much money, I will go to 10 villages or I'll go to 15 villages. But that's not how the thing works, like what my predecessors have also said on this call. So you said, okay, I'm focusing on this. This is my area. This is what work we are doing. So maybe if that area is any area the corporate is not there, then you obviously have the government whom you can target, or you can take rise funds from the philanthropic organizations working in that area. Obviously, there has to be a set measurable metrics, set parameters and metrics where, okay, if I do X, Y, Z, ABC is what I hope to this thing. And this is possible only with the initial surveys which you do before you set out to do a project, and the experience which you have gained from the previous doing such projects previously. The sustainability, yes, we have to pitch, obviously. So this is not a one-time exercise. This is how we go forward. This is how we want to go this thing. This is what will happen in 2 years' time. This is what will happen in 3 years' time. Irrespective of whether you coming in, not coming in, this is how we are. If you do not come in, this is how we plan to continue this. One of the sustainability examples is called something which another NGO is doing, is called afforestation. So they are coming up with this thing. Okay, this is what I am planning to do. This is I plan to do forestation over 110 acres, 10 acres, 15 acres. And how it is something somebody asked, how do you plan to sustain it? Initially, the water has to be brought from outside, but then they said, okay, from the next year we'll start doing rain harvesting and all. So that pitch is something which really touched the donor. Innovativeness in terms of, are you using any technology? Are you using any advanced techniques? The same case in a case of afforestation plan is, are we using those soil sensors? So though they're not very costly, though, are you using the soil sensors to measure the humidity in the soil or the water retention capacity of the soil? Are you using any soil? What do you call that? Soil tests, which you do, which is generally available free from the government. Have you done any soil tests so that you plant those things? So there's something to be innovative. Now it cannot be a standard template of this thing. Thirdly, you have to demonstrate the capabilities of executing certain project. You have teams which have been with you for 3 years, 5 years, and who have done such projects. That is something which governance, I think, Sabyasachi has explained very well. Trust, yes. Engagement with the donors, and I'll come. Engagement is the donors with whether they have given you donation, they're not given you donation. You keep on engaging. If not today, they'll come back to you tomorrow. For some reason or the other, they'll come back to you tomorrow. When I say demos, go to the next. I think everything is converging. So one is what you have to be prepared. You have to be prepared. The NGO has to be prepared with.
So Devdas, we've got about 2 or 3 more minutes.
That's the last slide. Okay. Yeah. So this is basically summarizing this thing. So you have to have a centralized data plan. So the one NGO which I saw is, they have 5-6 centers. The data, when you ask for them, it is at a remote location that is 15 kilometers away. So you have to have a basic head office or main area where we have all the central data. The documentation is very important. If you have done a previous project, you also, obviously there are some people who will be having they will engage a third party, like some companies engage third party to verify your your map your outcomes. So maybe you should go and ask them, I also would like to have a copy of that report. The most important is you have to overcome some. Obviously, not everything will be a success. There will be some failures also. So you have to communicate how have you learned from the successes, and more importantly, what you learn from your failures also. Budgets, obviously, budget being a budget, there will be some variations. How have you tried to tackle the variations? And the citations, obviously, everybody keeps all the citations, all the awards which they have got. That is something which people generally do. The thing is, business plan, you prepare a 3-year business plan, pick up a certain 1 or 2 developmental goals, pick up a particular geography, pick up a particular scheme, and then present it. That's this thing. That's how you target this thing. Keep it very specific rather than keeping a very generic, saying that, oh, these 5 things, if you give me money for what is your policy, I'll structure my project to that. That doesn't work generally. And clearly define the plan for executing, including our own resources. This X people I already have. I need to incrementally add 1 or 2 more people. This is how this thing. And sustain communication with the existing donors, past donors, potential donors. Keep on having a sustained communication. The point I'm trying to make is even communicate your failures also. Okay, see, I failed in this when we are trying to do this, but this is how we are rectified, or how we propose to rectify this. That is the most important this thing. Communication is something very important. So that's all. Thanks. And I'm very happy to volunteer for with anybody who wants. I think Gayatri and Deepak already have my numbers. Sorry, Sonia.
No, this is fantastic. Thanks. I mean, you've done a wonderful wrap up of what all 3 of you have been saying in a very nice way, and really appreciate it. Thank you to all 3 of you. Any questions specifically for Devdas ji?
So I'll add one. I think one general question which came up is how do we start? So the idea is when you are forming your NGO or whatever this thing you have, you please have some experienced people on your board who will work as a volunteers. Like I think what Sabyasachi also mentioned. Please rope in now that you have a forum where like seniors in Seva, you please pull in a forum. Maybe they'll able to personally come over, not come over, but have some people on board. They will also help you in figuring out what to do, how to do, but also like they help you out in the networking and all. I think today I personally I've been working on this for last 2 years, 1.5, 2 years. But like what Sabyasachi has said is I also got some more inputs into where we can approach for our more NGOs. Yeah, please go ahead. Happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Ask the question. Gayatri, may I ask a question?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Hello? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Mr. Devdas, yeah. You are keeping the UN sustainable. I'm just questioning this
Sonaji, are you able to hear
standard? Because from my study, I'm a forensic doctor working, to support marriage and family.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah. No, my question is, why are we keeping the UN 2030 standards for our work, for our people? Because a lot of it is the depopulation agenda. So I feel one also has to look into the ethics and the so-called goals of the organizations from where we take our money from. That is also important.
Fair enough. No. So
it's a depopulation agenda. Yeah.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make of the first this thing is that
I mean
there's
the UN,
convergence between what the NGO is trying to do and what people are trying to achieve, and they basically fall in the 17 buckets. But you're right, maybe this miss. It's only just an illustrative this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to be alert to from where we are getting our money, right?
Fair enough.
We should not endorse such organizations which are anti-life. Thank you.
Okay.
I think there's a question again about clarity on ATG. There seems to be confusion on this. Can anyone throw any insights on this?
No, I'll ask my chartered accountant, but he tells me I'll again get it confirmed. But he says there's not much of a use of having ATG because currently I think 12.5 lakhs is something for personal individuals. The ATG is there. That's what my chartered accountant colleague tells me.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Anybody else with any questions they'd like to ask?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm told recently that there has been a notification from the government that geographically, if, for example, an organization is located in Karnataka, whatever CSR funds that they want to pump in has to be necessarily been pumped in that particular state. And they cannot, if they don't have other offices or branches in other states, then they cannot do the social work in other areas, and they necessarily have to be done in that particular states only. Is that correct, or can someone clarify?
So sorry, can you come in again? So you're saying the companies have to, what is it? That?
For example, if an organization is in Karnataka and they want to pump in money for a CSR project, if they don't have any other branches elsewhere in other states, the implementing partner cannot utilize that fund in other states. The project has to be necessarily be done in that particular state only.
No, I haven't come across any.
I read about this sometime back in one of the newspaper article that I read it. Unfortunately, I didn't save it or I didn't retain that copy. But there has been no I mean, I wanted a clarification on this. That, for example, one company that we were associated with last year wanted us to do a project in Pune, but the funding came from Bangalore. But now I'm told that if the funding comes from Bangalore, I cannot do a project in Pune if they don't have an office there.
No, there is actually no such law in CSR. So there must have been
Okay.
some misunderstanding, but the CSR law is very clear because it allows companies to spend across the country. In fact, the government is encouraging companies to also go to areas that are called underserved areas where the company may not have its actual presence. So this is not correct, whatever.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, and just to add, actually, what ma'am said, see, actually, this, I think you're like referring 3 to 4 months back, some minister, he spoke about this. Actually, it also came in the newspaper. To some extent, it depends on the CSR committee. So there are a lot of things to it, actually. But as of now, there is no such law. No
Oh,
such law. It
thank you.
happens because some committee issues and yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Anyone else have a question?
I think Senthil has raised his hand.
Yeah.
Good evening. Good evening to all. Just I want to clarify how we can leverage social stock exchange to raise funds and then use crowdfunding for a particular project. If some of the inputs will help us. Thank you.
No, that is slightly out of syllabus for me. Maybe Sabyasachi can help or Krishna Kanji can help.
Crowdfunding is seems to be a different topic, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry, we'll come back to you. Let me also do some work on that and come back.
Yeah. We'll come back to you on this. Yeah.
I had one thought, regarding the FCRA. So after 5 years now, I would like to apply FCRA. If somebody can share, I hear that, or if somebody can say I should not apply because I hear it's very strict now, and it is not worth applying. So if somebody can share their opinion, because I have international connects, I could bring in FCRA, funds, but I think, is it worth wasting my time or application or something like that?
Yeah. Can I come in quickly?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
actually, Mr. Shiv, right? Mr. Shiv, just to give you a small, in fact, today also I was speaking to like one of my ex-colleagues, and the thing is that, see, based on till last year, things were not looking good in terms of the social sector, because lots of fund as committed were not coming. USA, sorry, am I audible?
Yeah.
So, what I was suggest you, if you're getting an FCRA on board, please do that, because I feel next few months are going to be very good for India in terms of foreign funding. You're going to get a lot of queries, because like recently USA have also they have not banned the visa and all those things, so they are social experts are expecting that a lot of funding will be coming soon. So that's a good news, but again, fingers crossed. Yeah.
Great. So we have 2 more hands that were raised, Itisha and Manaswi. So Itisha.
Hi. I wanted to know if there are these platforms, right, that help you find donors, that the ones that match NGOs with donors. So which are the reliable platforms? Because we got cheated once by such a platform called Finovation, and we lost some money also because. Yeah, just wanted to know about the reliable platforms. And is that the right way to go about? Yeah.
It's a meeting, man.
Was I audible?
Yeah, you were
Yes,
audible. Yeah.
Yes.
So who's taking that? Krishna Kant, are you taking the answer?
Yeah. So Itisha, so there is no formula which can.
No, it's not to be beaten at all.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not audible?
Yes,
Yes,
you
yes,
are.
you are.
Okay. Yeah. So Itisha, there is no formula by which you can say that this is genuine or not genuine. The only problem is whenever you are going for funding, And the red flag is whenever somebody asks you register with fund, first red flag. So whenever somebody asking for fund, just go run away as fast as possible. Okay. So, so because when you are going for funding, no funding agency should ask for money. So if they have asked for your money and you have paid money, so it is definitely a fraud agency. So avoid such agencies. That is the only way of identifying.
Right. All right.
Manasvi,
Thank
what about you?
Namaskar, ma'am. This side Manasvi from Rajasthan Bal Kalyan Samiti, and I want to ask, like, there are some of the crowdfunding sites like GiveDo. So what do they do? They get all the crowdfunding from foreign, and they just they transfer it. But now the situation has been changed. They do not directly transfer the FC to your account. They just route that FC to someone else account, and then you can get it. So one of the site is Mirad. So that fund was routed by Mirad, and Mirad has taken some of the service charges. So is there any other agency who are who does it without charging, or just take a minimum charge, because it costs a lot? It takes 20% charge.
Yeah, sorry. I feel please stay away from it, Manasvi. The law is very clear. In FCRA, subgranting is not allowed. And so if somebody is charging a percentage and then passing on that money, then both you are complicit and they are complicit. So please stay away from that
But
is my
madam, it
advice.
was Give Do. You must have heard that crowdfunding, Give India. So
Yeah.
so they are not direct. There was some specific amount which has been collected by GiveDo. Now what they said, that they cannot directly transfer it to you. So what they said, that they have to go through Mirad. There is one more funding agency, so they have to route to Mirad. But we didn't did that. But I just want to ask: is there any other thing we can? It is difficult to get it now.
Give India doesn't do like that. No? That you also so, and I don't know what you're talking about. Give do that I don't know, but Give India system is very clear, transparent, straightforward, and I don't know what is Give do and what you're talking about. My only suggestion is that the law is very clear, and please remember that if anyone is saying that they will transfer FCRA money to you after charging whatever money.
Exactly.
Please stay away from it, is all that
Okay.
I am saying.
Okay. Thank you.
And like just to add to ma'am what like ma'am said, like Neelamji, the thing is that no one will operate without taking a commission. So please don't expect that you like there will be someone who will operate without a commission. Either they will charge more or less, but they will charge. Yeah.
Yeah, I am only saying, Sabyasachi, in the case of FCRA
Absolutely,
money.
absolutely, ma'am.
Na,
No, no, ma'am. Yes, yes.
FCRA money is not legally allowed for other kinds of money, but of course, you also heard about I also know
Yes,
about them.
absolutely.
So they're thugs also, like somebody wrote.
Exactly.
So you have to stay.
100%, ma'am. 100%. I totally agree with you. Yeah.
So, just like what Savi had mentioned, that we have to keep our documents, I would also encourage where we go is that we also take the KYC of some of the donors also. So that is some documentation which I generally promote that we keep with us.
Okay. Great.
So I think coming via is always risky.
Yes.
Because then you're so much more distant from where the source of funding is. You can't explain it if somebody asks you. So compliance will be an issue.
True. Great. Any more that we're missing? I think we're now doing well. It's 5:25, and maybe it's a good time to wrap up now, but it's not a wrap up. I'm saying this is just a beginning, because we've seen a lot of interest, and we are quite amazed on how many people actually signed up and attended. So we're very encouraged by that. So thank you so much. I'm going to hand it over to Prashant Shirali to give the thank you note. But don't forget, we also need to take a picture of everyone. So at some point, everyone needs to open up their videos and show your picture, your faces, so that we can take let's do that now. And then I'll hand it over to Prashant. So everyone, please open up your videos. More faces coming in. Nice. Great. Okay, some still not there, but this is nice. Yeah. Fantastic. So Prashant, would you like to now take over with a thank you? Where is Prashant?
Can't hear you, Prashant. Can't hear you. You are not mute, but you are not audible.
Yeah, we can see Prashant. I think he's trying, but we can't hear him.
I think he needs to change some settings on his.
Yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, maybe Gauri, you can give the vote of thanks.
Yeah, Gauri, go ahead.
You are on mute, Gauri.
No, this time it's mute, really mute. Yeah, you can
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
Okay. First, I thought I'll just thank Sonia first. Sorry about that, but because she has thought about this type of panel type of masterclass, which I was very skeptical about. Let me tell you, Sonia, I thought the time would be a problem. I know, but then it's very well managed, and I think the insights the three stalwarts have given on funding, and especially for the NGO sector, who are really like look forward for something like funding, which is so important. I think it's amazing that type of insights they have given. And as volunteers, I think as volunteers of Seniors in Seva, I'm sure they all would also extend their support to, any of the participant organizations who are interested to, take their support. I really look forward for organizations to come forward and seek their support. And, I also wanted Nilima to add something which she said, we're not sure, like what Sabyasachi has said about the first 3 years, how do we, get funding or how do we do it? And he has given brilliantly, like, he said, like, you have to try to move the first 3 years ahead through your, acquaintances, your friends, family, and then and prove the concept. Once the proof of concept is there, then you can go to the funding. And that's precisely what Seniors in Seva has done. We have been like, the first 3 years or 2.5 years, we have all put our money, our friends and family supported the idea. And we were not very sure whether this idea would work. And still, like, a lot of people came forward, and that's how we could manage the first 2 years. And then went to the donors. And as Sonia said initially, that we have 2 donors now. And they've really believed our concept. And what we started with 3 volunteers, we today have 135 volunteers. And what we started with 2 organizations in 2022, we have around 35 organizations who came forward to seek our support. So definitely there is a way in which all our 3 panelists have suggested that how we can go forward in funding for a sector. Thanks, Mr. Devdas Prabhu, Krishna Kanja, and Sabyasachi for your amazing way of putting up about the fundraising for social sector. And thanks, Sonia, once again, and all our SIS colleagues who have worked behind the screen to ensure that this happens. And we're very happy that we had a lot of participants who have signed up and who have actually stayed till the end of the session. That really, gives us a lot of confidence that we are doing.
That's always a big benchmark
Yeah,
when they stay on. Yes, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So we'll be
Thank
sending.
you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Thank
thank
you
you.
all.
Will the speakers stay on? And we'll be sending you the link to the form for survey form, as well as the recording. And anyone